Hello, my loves, and welcome back to another guest episode on UNFUCK Your Life, the show for ambitious women who are ready to calibrate to their next level. Today's guest, I actually have with me here in person in my villa in Bali, which is so exciting. And it's really funny because I found her during one of my late night scroll sessions on Instagram. Not proud of them, I promise, but that was about 2 months or so ago. Like, it was literally a night where I just stayed in. And I rarely go on my explore page these days, but I happened to do that night. And the algorithm clearly wanted me to find you, which is so funny. And then I literally binge watched a bunch of your videos, and I was just like, I like this chick. I like her values. I like her approach. I like her energy. And just everything that her content is about. So naturally, I had to shoot her a message and go, hi, I'd love to have you on the show. And by that time, I just told you that earlier, I didn't know you were in Bali.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
That is so funny. Like, I literally didn't know where she was based. And then I saw in one of her videos that she was at Nirvana or something, like some sort of gym in Bali that I recognized. And I was like, oh, wait, are you in Bali right now? And she went like, yeah. And that's how we decided to do this in person. So this is really fun. She is a wellness creator, an online creator. She's a solo traveler, an ex-corporate New Yorker, and also the founder of SoftWild, which is a digital publication that makes health, wellness, mindset education beautiful and accessible and all in one place. So I can't wait for you guys to receive all of her wisdom today. Vic, welcome to Unfuck Your Life. It's so good to have you on.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
No, I'm excited for us to do this in person. Like, I love in-person interviews. It's always like a different vibe, a different energy to it. You're focusing a lot on ancestral. Is that how you pronounce ancestral?
Yeah.
Ancestral wisdom to help people reconnect with themselves and reclaim a life beyond mindless consumption and quiet settling. I'd love to hear more about how you got into that, seeing as you had a very different life before living in New York, having a corporate job, being and we talked about this prior to this interview, starting in a very masculine role, being very strategic and just living in I don't want to say like in a toxic work environment, but it was probably not necessarily supportive for you being creative, you being in your feminine, and being your truest self. So tell us a little bit more about how you eventually got to Bali, being passionate about all that you're passionate about and preaching and teaching on now. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So I think one thing that really got me into, ancestral wisdom and health and wellness, and honestly just sharing my opinion was, as you mentioned, I was in the corporate world. I was a living, breathing New Yorker in love with the hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
And actually, yeah. And I actually went through a health problem in New York. Very random and strange and honestly kind of a medical mystery.
Yeah.
So I was sitting at a cafe and all of a sudden felt this wave of heat and numbness and I thought I was dying.
What?
Yeah. I thought I was collapsing into the earth and really dying. I was crying. I ran out onto the sidewalk. It was a very big scene. I went to the hospital. And I remember at the hospital, I was being treated as if I was there because I wanted a drug. No one was really taking me seriously. And people kept giving me that energy, even though I refused drugs. Like, they wanted to give me ibuprofen, but I was like, I'm not in pain. Why are you prescribing me this? I don't need it. And then fast forward, I had to go to a primary care doctor to get an MRI because they thought it could be something neurological. And while I was...
Just quickly a question. By that point, you already were very aware that ibuprofen is not necessarily the solution to everyone's problems. Like, that is a certain awareness you already had at that time. I love that.
Yeah. I would say, I did grow up with a mom who was into health, who is into health. Not as much as I am now, but she was the OG Victoria. She planted the seed.
I love that. I love that for your mom.
Yeah.
Like, more natural, not so much like, okay, like, let's fix everything with like a pill from the pharmacy. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like that. Love that. Cool.
And then, so I went to the primary care doctor, and within 2 minutes of asking why I was there, she asked if I had ever been on anti-anxiety medication.
Ooh.
And I don't even think this woman knew my last name. And she was basically trying to prescribe me anti-anxiety medication. I left immediately, and then I went on this journey of,
Wow.
you know, figuring out what was wrong with me. And through that journey, and by the way, this took about 6 months to figure out what was wrong.
Oh, wow.
And it was just damaged nerves in my shoulder that a chiropractor fixed.
Oh, wow. Well, easy fix, eh?
Yeah, you would think. But
Wow.
through this journey, it made me question everything.
How young
And-
were you? Because you're still young. Like, you're 26 now.
I was 22.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was 22. It made me question everything, and it made me question parts of myself. I
Yeah.
realized that, you know, there were days that were so bad, and everyone around me was complaining. Everyone at the office was always complaining. And then I just straight up asked, wait, why am I choosing to complain? I can, you know, we talk about freedom of choice all the time. You have the freedom of choice to not complain and to be positive and put yourself in situations that bring you light, bring you peace, bring you joy, and don't make you feel like shit. And so honestly, that's what pushed me. I quit my job. I started solo traveling, which is kind of what landed me in Bali.
True.
And it was just because I decided to exercise my freedom of choice.
I love that. I love how you put that. And you were 22 when you quit, or like was that like years after the whole incident with your
When
shoulder?
I quit, I was 23.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
And then you started traveling for how long? And what were your main takeaways on that journey, as you obviously were in this process of rediscovering what life looks like outside of New York, outside of the 9 to 5, outside of this particular way of thinking and having a certain set of values that you, like the hustle, the bustle, like the achievement, like that you didn't want to agree with anymore?
So I think when I went solo traveling,
I actually did the same when I was 22. I went solo
Really?
traveling, and it changed a lot for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun. Yeah.
I think one thing that really made it easy for me to travel was that when I collapsed to the floor and felt like I was dying, and truly I did, and that also wasn't
And
the
a
only
version
time.
of you was like literally,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
But we talk about ego death. You know, in that
Yeah.
moment, I realized how fragile the body is and how powerless I am to my environment and whatever wants to happen
Yeah.
to me. I experienced ego death. And because of that, it made
Very
me
humbling, hey?
Yeah, it was very humbling.
Yeah.
Like I really realized it's out of my control. And I think that's one thing a lot of people struggle with is the feeling of not having full control. And the reality is none of us have full control. But I think because I experienced that, I was able to solo travel with such an open mind and so
Yeah.
open to cultures and people and experiences. And had I not gone through that terrifying time of my life, I don't think I could have gone solo traveling and had such a meaningful experience.
No, I can see that 100%. And also, I think it's interesting because you're basically saying there's so much outside of our control, which can be scary, but at the same time, it's very freeing because it's like, well, then what's left? Like, there's a few things that are actually within our control, like you said, the gossiping or complaining. Like, there are certain things in life that are actually very much within our control, which a lot of people kind of want to like step away from and actually not fully own and take ownership for. And I think that's where you probably also realize, well, I'm actually so much in charge of how I treat myself, speak to myself, nourish myself, show up in my day-to-day life. Like, there's so much within our control, and I'm curious, what are the things that you realized are within your control that actually, when you took charge of them, changed your life for the better? And I'm speaking skincare, I'm speaking foods, lifestyle choices, your social circle, your living environment, like all the things basically that actually are up to us and within our control because we can choose.
Yeah. So I think for me, when it came to control, I really adopted this idea of radical accountability. And what that did for me was I became curious about everything. And that allowed me to have control. You know, you have control over your knowledge.
That is a huge one. That actually is such a huge one. I can't stress enough. It's
Yeah.
like knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
Like, be a smart, educated woman and like literally question everything.
Yeah. And one of the things that helped me so much was before, if I didn't know something, I would just say, I don't know.
Literally, that used to be me too, and
Yeah.
I didn't want to know. I didn't want to find. I was like so
Yeah.
comfortable not knowing.
Exactly. I changed
Wow.
just the way I spoke.
Right.
The way I spoke out loud. So if I didn't know something, I would say, let's not guess. And then I would find out the answer.
Ooh, I
Then
like
I
that.
would
Ooh,
get
I like
the
that a lot.
answer. And changing the way I spoke outwardly changed the way that I spoke inwardly.
And the way you would act too, instead of just saying I don't know, being like, let me be proactive about this. Let me figure this out.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
And that, you
I like
know,
that a lot.
a lot of people ask me about what food should I be eating? What skincare should I be using? Yes,
Yeah.
I do have answers for that, and I have suggestions, and I do like to give them. But
They're
ultimately,
so good also for everybody listening. You need to check out Vic's page after listening to this because it's like, mwah, chef's kiss. Sorry.
thank you.
No, it's true.
But I think before I give those recommendations, the biggest recommendation I would give is just to be curious and actually, you know,
Yeah.
flip the bottle around, look at the ingredients. If you don't know what it is, then look it up, because also
Research.
yeah, because I could tell you something like sulfites, okay? I could say sulfites are bad for you. A sulfite, if you actually look at what it is, you might question whether it is so bad for you. And then a lot of people don't even know the difference between a sulfite and a sulfate. But these are all things that if I just said to you, you wouldn't absorb that information. You wouldn't understand that information.
We
It
learn
takes
best when we do it ourselves.
Exactly. It takes being curious. It takes looking it up, reading about it yourself, and doing the research.
What sparked your journey when it comes to that? Actually starting to look at ingredients lists when it comes to foods, when it comes to skincare, hair care, all of it. Because you obviously, for everybody who doesn't know what you're doing, you make all of this yourself from
Yes.
scratch. Skincare, hair care, all of it. Minimal ingredients, obviously purely natural. And they clearly work because you are fucking stunning and glowing.
thank you.
And then I know you get these compliments all the time on Instagram. I've seen comments of people being like, her skin is flawless and her hair is so shiny. And it's like, yeah, because like the stuff that you use, it has what your body needs and it does the job. And you literally don't have to get jabbed or like get Botox. You don't have to, like buy a shampoo with like fucking 50 ingredients that you can't even pronounce. Like, you don't need to do, like, when did you start looking into that? Because that is such a journey. I mean, I always loved like natural skincare since I turned vegan, which was when I was 18. But I've never actually taken the step to be proactive about like creating my own stuff, which I'm still not there yet. But I feel like the more I watch people like you making it so easy, it's like, okay, like, no brainer, you know?
So in high school, I actually had rosacea, which
Oh.
is tiny red bumps all over my cheeks. And, you know, I mentioned...
What a blessing.
Yeah.
What a blessing.
Yeah. Honestly, looking back.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mentioned my mom was very healthy. So I begged her to go to a doctor, to go to a dermatologist.
Yeah.
And she said no. That's when I found...
Slay. What a slay.
Exactly. And that's when I found this natural flaxseed mask that I've posted about, which is what originally got me started on social media.
Yeah.
But
that's what made you go viral in the first place, no?
yes,
Like, literally
my
the
skincare
mask.
routine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
But honestly, I had that mask and I had been using it throughout the years, but I still used, like, in my earlier 20s, I was a consumer. I was going to
Yeah.
Sephora. I was buying the
Yeah.
products, and you know, while I was doing that was also when I experienced the sickest moment in my life, like the time I felt the worst. And so once I adopted this radical accountability, I realized that goes into everywhere in my life. You know, I am accountable for what I put into my mouth, what I put onto my skin, that leaches into my bloodstream. I have control over that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do something about it.
Yeah. I love that you're saying this because I think most people don't correlate their daily decisions and choices, lifestyle choices, food choices, cosmetic choices to their state of health or well-being, right? How did you make that connection? How did you realize, well, I'm feeling the worst I've ever had and I'm making certain choices, there must be some sort of correlation, let me make different choices.
So
because I think most people will just be like, oh, poor me, I have this issue, I have this sickness, I have this whatever it is I'm struggling with, like physically, but they don't understand there is a correlation to how they're either speaking to themselves or what they're consuming or putting onto their or into their body, right? Like most people don't make that correlation. Oh, I've possibly co-created this in some way, shape, or form.
And I think honestly that's kind of the first step in being curious and radical accountability, because that's the problem. We live in a cure culture where we wait for something to be wrong to address the problem. And then once we do address the problem, actually the research is very quick. You know, most people get diagnosed with a disease like Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is, you know, it's hormones.
Yeah.
You do the research how to prevent it. It's right in front of you. It's skincare. It's endocrine disruptors. It's actually not hard to find.
And prevention doesn't even have to get to the point of you suffering.
Exactly. But we don't do the research until after.
Exactly. We need to live more in like prevention mode though.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. It's just by being curious and what I said earlier and radical accountability. It's about doing the research now before you're forced to by an external force.
Can we highlight this in some way, shape, or form? I think this is so important. Do it before it gets to the point. Before you're actually forced, as you said, to research, to find solutions to a problem that wouldn't have occurred in the first place if you would have taken better care of yourself. As mean as it sounds, like it's literally you. Like if you're experiencing something, chances are you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
Right?
And yeah, exactly. And by the way, I mean, that being said, I completely understand why people are not programmed to think like this.
No, of course not. I've never been.
I mean, when you look at if you ask people what they're scared of plane crashes. They're scared of murder because those are the things that are on the news all the time.
True.
But if you look, but if you look at the chart of death, the 3 top causes of death in the entire world is stroke, heart attack, and cancer.
I was just saying cancer, yeah.
And then plane crashes is not even on this chart. But you build your fear around that. True. So you consume endless amounts of unnecessary energy around fear. That
AKA news.
Yeah.
Switch off the TV. Stop. Just don't.
That's the power of media.
Yeah, literally. I studied this shit, so like that's why I never wanted to go down that like path, because I was like, all of this is curated bullshit. Like, I can't even stand this.
Yeah.
Literally. No, I feel strongly about that. So it's very interesting that you're like, well, these are the top 3. Okay, based on that, what do you recommend people to do to at least take proactive action to prevent? Because we just talked about prevention. And we can also talk about, like, Botox prevention. Like, preventing just, like, having to take a step that actually isn't supporting you. You think it's going to fix something, but actually there is a more natural way to even prevent it in the first place. Like, what would you say are like a few things people can pay attention to prevent cancer? What did you say? Heart attack and stroke? Yeah.
So there are a few things that you can do that everyone should be doing, like mastering the art of eating. So the way in which you eat your food, fiber, protein, fat, that's the order you eat your food. And there are things like that where you'll see that in the research that you end up doing.
Oh, you mean in the order, like when you have a meal in front of you, you should eat the fiber first, then the protein, then the fat? I thought fat before protein. That's interesting. Oh, I didn't know that.
No, it's protein before fat.
Okay.
But all of this is...
Okay.
Now I'm doubting myself.
No, I don't.
But
I
think
I only heard that once. Like, I saw it in some girl's story. She was like, "Eat your veggies first, then your fat, then your protein." But maybe she makes it up too.
Okay, but the point is these are all things that you would find in research. Like the overarching theme of those diseases is they're diseases of inflammation. So you need to learn how to mitigate inflammation one of the ways you do that is by mitigating the glucose spike. So that's why learning about food is so important, and having protein, if you are even having a natural sugar, is so important. And
yeah, because we all like our fruits, don't we?
yeah, but still you need to have it with a protein. Like that can be Greek yogurt. And I think these are things that honestly are so basic. Do you know what I mean? And
but most people just literally don't know. It's like you're having your little muesli, like cereals for breakfast, and like that type of shit, you know, with like some sort of oat milk that has like oils in it. Like it's just like that.
But that's the thing. I think the reason why people forget about it so often, because I can say to someone, glucose spike, you know, you need to mitigate your glucose spike, keep your blood sugar. That's not really going to sit in someone's mind. So what I recommend people do, the first thing they should do, not think about their glucose spike. They should go into their kitchen, they should go into their pantry, pull out products, pull out things that they bought, like a snack, flip it around, read the ingredients, and then
look at the ingredients of everything.
If you don't know what it means, look it up and ask what it does to your body, because you're not going to respect it until you get shocked. You need to have the shock value.
That is true.
Anything I can say, oh yeah, balance your blood sugar. Bullshit.
It's not going to
resonate. It's not going to resonate until you realize you've invited the silent killer into your own home. That's going to change your mindset.
Boom.
Not me saying balance your blood sugar.
Literally. That is so real. And it's people, again, being proactive and being like, let me check what's in there, what it does to me. What are the consequences of consistently eating that over a year, 2 years, 3 years without even, you know, worrying about a thing? Because it's like all these, like, even like protein snacks that have like 50,000 ingredients.
Yeah.
It's like, it's protein, it's high in protein, sweet, good on you, but like look what goes into it. Like look what else is in there besides like the little bit of extra protein that makes it a high protein snack, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And humans love to learn. The thing is, once you graduate school, you actually don't exercise your mind enough. So
because you're done, fuck learning. School is like the system. I mean, we don't have to talk about the school system, but I think we both have a good opinion on that. But anyway, so like that is like you're just done learning. I mean, I felt the same way. I was like, fuck. I spent years of my life, like the most receptive years of my life, learning bullshit I will never ever need and that I didn't even want to learn. So now I'm just like, good for now, you know. That I think that's where people are like tired of it, so they don't learn about the important stuff they actually need for life. That's my theory, at least. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it is. The school system was born during the Industrial Revolution to make employees. So yeah, that's what it is.
That's literally what it is. Yeah.
But the point is, you stop learning once you graduate. For most people, it's high school, and then for some people, it is university.
Yeah.
But humans want to learn. Humans naturally want to be better. It's in our biology to want to be
survive,
better.
Right?
Exactly. So once you actually start, you know, turning around those ingredients and looking at one thing, you're going to do it for the rest. You're naturally going to spark a curiosity where you're like, wow, I learned something. I want to keep learning.
It's interesting though. It's almost addictive. Like when you started, you're like, I can't get enough, because it's like it changes your life. It changes how you see reality. It changes how you see everything.
Exactly.
Because when you start questioning one thing,
you start questioning everything.
You start questioning everything, and you have to. For me, it was actually funny enough during the pandemic in 2020 where I woke the fuck up. Like that was the year 2020, summer 2020. I can still remember. I followed this one chick on Instagram, Mel Wells. I don't know if you know her. She's great, and she's been posting about a lot of let's call them conspiracy theories. Just
I need to follow her.
No, yes. I mean, I was just thinking, you don't know her. Well, highly recommend. She's not posting about it anymore. It's not her thing. But at that time, she felt really strongly about it, and I so appreciated that she was open about it. Because until that point in my life, I didn't really question much. I still trusted the government. Just kidding. No, I'm actually not kidding. You know, so like I think that really woke me up to a lot of things, and I went down a bunch of rabbit holes. Had a lot of late nights just questioning the system, questioning this reality that we live in, which really is a simulation. I mean, it really is just that. And it changed everything for me. And it's like, it's how can people who are very comfortable get more curious. Like, because I think I was at a place in my life before where I felt very comfortable in my little bubble, thinking everything was great. Until you then wake up to the ugly truth and you're like, fuck, no, I can't go back. But it's very uncomfortable to know all these things. What would you say to someone who wants to stay comfortable but equally knows it's better to know than to not know?
Who wants to stay comfortable?
Who wants to stay comfortable because it feels nicer in your body, it feels safer, right, for your nervous system. Because like during that time I woke up spiritually in like a lot of different ways. I was very anxious. I was in a lot of fear because I was just like, this is fucked. The world we live in is fucked, you know? It was scary because I was like by myself at that time. The world was shutting down. I lived in Malaysia in my own apartment and I was just scared to death. Like,
what were you scared of?
How to live life from now onwards. Like what to even do, because it felt at the time, now I don't feel that way anymore, but it felt at that time like we have so little power because the people in power have so much more power, obviously.
Right.
Like, right? And so it feels like you have limited choice, but actually that's not true now, I know. But like for people who are afraid to know things that are a little darker.
Right.
But
so you figured it out.
I think now I'm good.
Basically. But my point is that's the problem, is people don't have enough confidence in themselves to figure it out.
Yeah.
And people think like,
but there's holes in the system, you're sweet. Like, you're fine.
But that's the thing. Alex Hermosi talks about this, and you know Alex Hermosi?
Oh yeah.
You know, imagine the worst. I'm talking the worst possible situation for you.
Yeah.
For the average person, I know there are outliers. For the average person, the worst possible situation is that you don't have a home anymore, but you probably have at least one friend or family member who can put you up, would love to support you while you figure things out.
Literally, the worst case is never that bad.
The worst case is never that bad. And having that confidence in yourself to piece yourself together, whatever comes after, is so important and necessary that you kind of just have to swallow it and realize, no matter what, I'm gonna get out of it.
I think that's where most people fail, though, is like self-trust. They don't trust themselves. Like, I can figure hard shit out for myself.
But the only way to actually trust yourself is to prove to yourself. Yeah, so it's either you do it or you don't. And one thing I actually, like you said, the ugly truth. The ugly truth is that you're either going to do it or you're not. And if you're not going to do it, then that is what it is. And you're not going to get to the place where you want to be.
You're never going to live life to your fullest potential when you keep hiding from what you think is, like, even from your own potential, right? Like, people making moves, people leaving their 9 to 5, their city. In your case, New York, for me, it was like a small hometown in Germany, where I could have easily gone down this, like, journalism path and be part of this whole thing, you know? Where I was like, no, like, that doesn't really feel good. I mean, it's definitely harder to sell my belongings, move across the globe, like, continents by myself at 22. Like, that feels a little scarier. But obviously, that's naturally the best decision you can ever make. Like, the best outcomes come from the scariest decisions that feel the hardest. Or, like, leaving someone, like, leaving a long-term relationship. I did that last year. I don't know what your hardest decision ever was, but I'm almost 100% sure it led to the best possible outcomes.
Always.
What was it for you?
The hardest decision?
One of the hardest decisions, yeah. Oh, the hardest. I mean, give us the tea.
The hardest. Honestly.
At the time, hardest. I mean, now looking back, you're like, no-brainer, obviously.
Honestly, the hardest decision was me leaving my corporate job.
Wow, yeah.
And deciding to take time off for so long, like years, especially in my 20s, because I also knew I was a recruiter at one point, and
everybody was building their careers,
everyone was building their career. Yeah. Everyone was building their careers, you know, getting to know people. And also I don't come from a family who could help me at all. So all of this was, you know, savings from my corporate job and then the jobs that I had during university. And by the way, I also had university debt. So it was so many things that were like, do I really want to quit my steady
Safe,
job
stable,
that's
yeah.
gonna help me pay off these student loans, or
Which in America
do you think
is
I'm gonna
fucked, right? Like,
it's 100,000.
wow, yeah. I mean,
It's
in that
100,000.
range. I was like, oh, maybe a fifth. Maybe 50.
It was around 100,000.
Wow.
So
Oh, that's so
yeah,
fucked. That's
you know.
so fucked. Literally, one of the things I always tell people is like, you know, when people ask you like, what would you do differently? I was like, I would have saved myself the time and the money that I spent on university and just done my own thing like right away. But sometimes you need the time to figure it out.
I wouldn't have done anything in my life differently. No.
Also fair, because it leads you to where you're meant to be. It leads you to where you're at right now, like who you're now. But like, if I could tell someone, I would still say, like, if someone is like on the edge, wanting to like invest 100,000 into uni, I would say, you know, you can reconsider.
What your personal experience does is allow you to give advice.
Exactly, I needed it and you needed it too.
Exactly, but the reality is, you know, if you go back, you never know where that could lead you. It could lead you to some very destructive fate where you wouldn't even be able to sit here today.
That's true.
Like, on this actual plane of Earth.
I think I would not do it differently. I mean, turning back time because I needed that. But, like, if someone else asked me, would you do it again? Yes, but, like, you should not because, like, you could reconsider because there's better options. That's
exactly.
What I would say, you know? I would never recommend, definitely do university and pay that money for that education. I would not recommend, but I think we needed that to get to where we are. You talk about modern feminism a lot, and I actually created a reel a while back that was very disturbing for a lot of people because a lot of people thought I was against women's rights.
Okay.
Because I was basically saying I woke up today, I'm not on birth control, I'm not blah blah blah, I'm not a feminist. But like for me, what I meant by that was something quite different to what people assume, which I can totally see why. But like, what is your definition of feminism? What does modern feminism mean? Because I didn't give a lot of context, so like a lot of people were kind of upset about it. But what does it mean to you, and how do you practice it, and how has it potentially changed your life?
I do consider myself a feminist, but I don't consider myself the definition of the modern day feminist.
I think that's where people started putting hate comments on it.
Exactly.
Because they're like, you're all about women empowerment. How dare you to say that? And I was like, I didn't mean it like that, but okay.
So, I mean, what is woman empowerment? Why did that even start? It was just basically to get women the right to choose. Yeah. We have that now. You know, women do have the right to choose. Now, there needs to be, if a woman chooses to stay at home and mother her children and cook all 3 meals for her children and her husband, that's beautiful. That's something we should celebrate. We should celebrate.
It's beautiful,
yeah, it is beautiful.
Yeah.
We should celebrate her choosing to do that. And you know what? On the flip side, I worked and studied in sports, and there were some incredible, like, pioneering creative women who were in the spot that they should be. They didn't want a family, they didn't want kids, but they were so amazing in their own right. Do I want to live a life like that? No. But I celebrate the fact that they're so proud of their choices and that they were able to do that.
That was always me, by the way. Boss babe, don't want kids, don't want anything, don't need a man, no. Like, I can see that. And, like, that's cool, too, by the way. That's totally fair.
And that, to me, is...
Both is fine. Like, none of that is wrong.
Exactly. That, to me, is what the modern-day feminist lacks, is the empathy for the choices that go against this stereotypical feminist.
Very true.
I think women need to actually empower each other, and the way I've seen so many women being torn down because, you know, they want to stay at home and they love their husbands. Literally. And, you know, it's...
being shamed for, like, you're not powerful because you're giving up your power because you let your man make all the money. Like, maybe she's just in her feminine and really enjoying it and she feels safe and, like, she enjoys that. Like, who are you to judge that? Who are you to judge the woman who wants to make her career her whole life? Like, who are you to judge any of that? Like, it's like, it goes both ways, but, like, you know... But, like, we have the freedom that's good.
Yeah.
We can choose.
Exactly. And the thing is about power, women in their feminine...
We're so fucking powerful.
Exactly. The thing about feminine energy and the feminine is we are the life force. We actually bring life. That is the most powerful,
Amen.
the most powerful thing you can do. It is the entire purpose of life.
Itself.
And that should be celebrated. Men and
But men
women
don't
are not the same.
acknowledge that though. Like a lot of men don't think
Those
that
are not
women-
men.
But these are not real men. I'm just saying there's a lot of men who are like women are weak, and also like you being in your feminine, it's not you being passive or weak. Like literally, you are the portal. Like you bring life to this world. Don't let any man ever tell you if you're very feminine that you're not powerful, because holy fuck, like, right?
Yeah. You know, I think there are terrible men. I also think there are terrible women. That's just, yeah, you know, men say bullshit, women say bullshit.
Yeah.
I haven't had the experience with so many of those people, because I really believe you attract what you are, not what you want.
100%. I think I saw that on your stories or on your feed like this today even.
Yeah, I think I just posted that today.
Because I was like, oh, I feel like I read that somewhere today, and I think that was
Yeah.
you.
But
So
you know,
true. And I'm girl, 100%.
it's like
100%.
when you go through a revolving door of, let's say, toxic friends. If you have 5 of
True.
them, okay, there's one common denominator.
And that is you.
Yeah.
Always.
So radical accountability. It's not an insult. It's just
No,
an
it's not.
opportunity of growth. People take things too seriously, and I think this is
Yeah.
also super important when talking about feminism.
Yeah.
You know, there's this whole trend of being a girl's girl. I think the truest girl's girl is
Be honest with
having
each other.
having a friend who doesn't enable your bullshit.
Literally.
Someone
Who gives you the reality check you need, even if it's not what you want to hear and it's not pretty.
Yeah.
Like, with love.
Exactly, with love. That's the most important part. You're giving this feedback because you want them to grow, because you
Honestly,
want
these
them to be the
people-
best version.
And these are the people you actually need and want in your life. It's not the ones who agree with everything you say, choose, and do. It's the ones that are like, you know what, I know you and I want best for you, and like, let me just hold up a mirror for you. And then you can like make your own decisions after having, because sometimes we need a mirror. Sometimes we need a friend who's like, girl,
Yeah,
what are you doing, you know?
For sure.
We need that. I need that too, 100%.
Me too. I'm, you know, yes, I experienced ego death quite a few times, but
There's always more layers.
I'm still struggling with it. And
Oh,
sometimes I need a friend to be like, Victoria, calm down.
Literally.
And I fucking value them for that. Like, I love them for that. I love them more because of that.
Yeah. Literally, I think a lot of women are afraid though. They're like, oh, like I don't want to like be too much, or I don't want to be like mean. But I think when you have people around you who value the same things, who value growth, which you only get that from like honest feedback, then you kind of know. So like,
Yeah.
how has that actually been for you? Like that journey of like, because we just talked about that previously, like before the episode, having friends fall away because of who you become, how you change, how you evolve, the decisions you make that are different from most people's decisions in life, whether it comes to career, food, lifestyle, politics, like all the things. What was your experience with that? Because I think a lot of people are curious about like changing and evolving in that direction, but are just like, what if people can't resonate with me anymore? What if I'm not being approved, liked, validated anymore? What if I'm ending up alone? Because that's like a core fear as a human,
Right?
is, like being alone.
Totally. So yes, when I did lose some friends, which everyone does in their life,
Plenty.
yeah, there was a time where I cried and I was so sad and I was so terrified of being lonely, because also often naturally it's the closest person. It's the closest person to you that you're spending the most time with that is capable of hurting you so much. That's usually how it goes, just as a natural like energy revolver. So yes, there was a time where I was extremely sad and heartbroken when things like that would happen. And what I realized was that's just because I didn't like my own company. I didn't like to be by myself.
So fucking true.
So,
Fucking true.
you know, solo traveling helped because it forced me to be by myself.
And rely on yourself and build that self-trust too.
Exactly.
100%.
And, you know, I would just spend more time alone. And I know a lot of people say, you know, just go on a date, take yourself to dinner and da-da-da.
That helps, but it's not all there is to it.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's more to it than that. It's about being by yourself intentionally, not just being by yourself because you have to be by yourself, but being by yourself and like having a conversation that you would have with, let's say, a first date. What do you want in life? Where do you want to be in 5 years? What do I want to achieve this month? Like really talking to yourself. Why do I think the way I think?
Yeah.
Setting aside intentional time with yourself and being comfortable being alone will really help you and honestly make you more grateful when the people, naturally leave your life, because then those are not your people.
Yeah.
You'll be so grateful for it.
Yeah, in the moment it hurts and it sucks and you feel kind of terrified because it does feel like the person is not dying. I mean, that sounds very dramatic, but like for me at least, when I quote unquote lost one of my best friends like two and a half years ago, that felt very unsafe in my body, like naturally, because like losing someone close to you, it feels very unstable, ungrounding. And fun fact, we're besties now again, like we found each other again. It was
Wow.
really funny, like no, and that's fucking beautiful, because sometimes you need to go your own path for like a little bit, like a couple months, a year, and then you find back together and it's like nothing had changed, but you like everything has actually changed. But I really resonate with that. Is like when you are so solid in yourself, when you just like yourself, you just know yourself to a degree where you like, no matter what you project onto me, it literally doesn't shake my foundation, because I just know who I am, and your little projections can't change the way I feel about myself, even on a day where I feel like I fucked up, or I'm not enough, or I haven't done enough, or whatever. Your shit can still not affect me, because I know it's yours, not mine. Like, that is so solid, and that literally changes your life quality, because you don't hold on to people or engage with people just for the sake of not feeling lonely, because you are alone but you don't feel lonely. Like, I actually said this to like a friend of mine like a couple of weeks ago. I was like, I can't remember, because she was like, oh, you've been like single for a year and a half, no, and do you ever feel lonely? And I was like, I can't recall the last time I actually felt lonely, not alone, because it's such a different feeling. You're alone and you like it, versus you're lonely and you're craving someone else's presence to distract you from what could come up when you're by yourself. And so I think this is actually really powerful. But let's come actually back to modern feminism and like close that loop, because I feel like my ADHD like always takes us places, which is fun. We love that. But what do you think is something powerful to realize about modern feminism, so that women can actually learn about this feeling empowered, rather than, because again, there's like these two extremes to it almost, right? Like, you're obviously like somewhere in the middle, I would say. What would you say is important when it comes to modern feminism? Like, how can you live this principle, let's say? Like, how do you live it, being a modern feminist, if you want to put yourself into that category, which helps to like understand where you're at?
I think being a modern feminist really comes down to just being okay with what the woman in front of you chooses to do.
Yeah.
And the times where women have, I guess, they've evoked a physical response from me, whether that be anger or like an ununderstanding. I really just imagine them as a little girl.
Yeah.
And I think when I was a little girl, there are things I had gone through. There are things that happened to me that affect the way I am, as did this person that I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to put any negative energy to this little girl. Why would I?
Yeah.
And that has helped me be so much kinder to women. And I think compassion is so important. I think if women are faced with another woman who are, let's say, frustrating them, just imagine them as a little girl.
Because that's what we all are, literally. Yeah. We all have that little girl in us, and it's so true. When we're kind of acting out, it's usually from this wounded place of the little girl in me feels unseen, unsafe, unloved, whatever it is, right? And like that triggers like a certain behavior or response that maybe you're like, oh, like that was a little immature of me, Yeah. But like we all have that, and it's okay to be human like that. But it's important to understand, like, it's never about you. It's always like people projecting. Like, we're all constantly projecting. Like, exactly. I'm projecting, you're projecting, and then that's okay, right? But I think that's where you're so right. Like, we don't even have to be upset with other people, because like, what's the point? They're just reflecting their own pain, their own worldviews, their own values onto you. And then if there's a mismatch, just cool, let it be. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not a big deal at the end of the day, is it?
Just be so proud that that little girl actually got to where she is, because not
Yeah.
all little girls get there.
That is so true. Yeah. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot of inner work and like deprogramming yourself. Let's actually talk about like some of the things that you deprogrammed yourself of. I mean, obviously your mom, for instance, she was a great influence when it came to understanding there's alternative options to a lot of things that people choose. But what are some alternative wellness practices that you use on a daily or weekly basis that you found actually work just as well, if not better, than a lot of the common things that are promoted in today's modern day society, such as Botox, lip fillers, you know, the products we use, the foods we eat? Like, what do you think are things that make you in your wellness journey, not even journey when you kind of like have it locked in, but like, you know, like on a day-to-day basis, like what do you tend to lean towards that actually makes a huge difference for you, makes you feel so much better?
A huge, and this is so important, and I think everyone should do it, and I think there's no excuse for anyone because we all live on the planet Earth.
True.
Grounding. I know a lot of people think that's woo-woo, but grounding essentially means you're in nature, and being outside in the sun, one, does actually, like, scientific, physical response, it is better for you, but
True.
being in the sun, out in nature, and spending intentional time with nature, so putting your feet on the ground and saying something just with gratitude makes you feel so good. You are what you speak.
I'm just envisioning that, and I already feel better just envisioning it. I'm like, oh,
but it's
I'm
so true. Even if
true.
you wake up and feel like shit, just say, fuck, today is such a good day. I woke up today, I'm in my luteal phase.
Oh, wow.
I'm in my luteal phase.
I'm ovulating, girl. I'm here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Luteal phase is hard, okay? Naturally, women, you know, their hormones are out of whack and they feel a little bit down. And today I woke up a little bit down. And I've honestly had the most incredible day ever, just because I've said, wow, today is an incredible day. Every little thing, like the coffee shop had cashew milk. Usually they're out. Made it the best day ever.
True. And you keep attracting more of those beautiful little things because you already set that intention in your head that, like, only good things happen to me.
Because you are what you attract.
Yeah, you're literally like, everything in life
You
is just
attract what you
around.
are. Yeah.
And that's cool because then it becomes a fun game. You're like, oh, let's see how good it can get today. You know?
Exactly.
And that's how I play.
Exactly. I think that is an unmatched wellness hack.
True.
I think that is
very unconventional, but I love it. It's
exactly.
true.
That is to
Nobody
me is
talks about that.
Nobody talks about it because it doesn't serve society
The
if
law of
everyone's
assumption.
happy.
True, exactly.
It doesn't serve society.
If you're healthy and happy, nobody can make money off of you. At least not really, you know?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
So, not interesting for them.
Yeah. So that's 1 and 2. I think I said 2.
Yeah.
Another one, you know, referring to the natural skincare you mentioned, I think what it's done for my femininity, getting really into making my own skincare
Like
has
providing for yourself in all ways. Nice.
yeah, you know, it is such a feminine thing to really take care of yourself and your beauty. You know, that's not vain at all. Being into yourself and what you lay.
Feminine. I love that you're saying this. I want to point this out. Taking care of the way you feel and the way you look.
Yeah.
That is very feminine of you, like nurturing and nourishing yourself.
Yeah.
Homemade, self-made.
Exactly.
You can't get more feminine than that.
Exactly.
It's very masculine to just pay money for like a product that's like packed with like shit. Like that's like everybody can do that, pay with their money, but like doing it with your own
Exactly.
hands.
With your own hands creating, that is such a feminine practice.
Very.
And it's done so much for my femininity that I recommend every woman should have part of her morning routine, if it's not a 100% natural, at least some element be something that she makes, like a home mask, or even if it's just like going to get a special rose hip oil from a Kohl's kind of store, but something very natural, and take extra time to really, you know, massage it into your skin. Make it romantic. The more you romanticize the things that you do, the more you're going to feel that you're flowing through life and that life is easy.
Yeah. No, and it's an act of self-love too, and it really just goes to show your subconscious, I'm worthy of taking the time for that. Like I'm worth it. I don't just like have to rush in the morning and like use bought stuff that like, you know, again isn't the best for you. But like that is such an act of self-devotion in itself. So
Exactly.
you're saying that. So grounding, sunshine, which I mean we're both, I mean you're definitely way more tan than me, but like we're both definitely sun babies. Like we love that. And like and yeah, doing something with your hands for you that is completely natural. Is there anything else that you, because like especially looking at you, I feel like we eat a very similar way.
Yeah.
Since I'm no longer vegan. But like what are some like food not necessarily hacks, but like some things that you pay attention to when nourishing your body with like foods?
So, you know,
Because you also have a cookbook.
I do have yes, I have a cookbook coming out.
Yeah.
For me personally, my body works best with primarily the ancestral diet with protein. So I eat mainly protein, raw honey, fruits, and then vegetables sometimes.
What kind of vegetables? Because I feel like a lot of people kind of keep saying like vegetables are like evil and stuff. Like we don't need them. Da da da. I mean carnivores, obviously, but like
I don't think vegetables are evil. I'll just put that out there.
Yeah.
I think
I love veggies.
Yeah, honestly, I love the way they taste. I love a good salad. I'm planning on getting a salad after this.
Love this.
But
broccoli and carrots.
It's less about the vegetable and more about where you're getting it from.
Pesticides.
You know, the pesticides. Also, where is it growing? That's super important because our soil is so depleted. You're not getting micronutrients.
Literally.
I do eat a lot of carrots. I
know.
Yeah.
It's literally your
I eat carrots every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day.
It's so good for your skin. Obviously, it gives you like a healthy glow, but more than that, it also it's the same as, what is this ingredient called?
Retinol, vitamin
retinol,
A. Yeah.
Retinol, and vitamin A too. But like retinol, like literally people put that, and I put it on my skin. I have a retinol cream, but like you're literally eating your retinol.
Yeah, exactly.
I learned that through you, by the way.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No, and I looked it up and I was like, oh, that's so interesting, because I didn't know that before.
But yeah, that's the thing.
All. And I love carrots, but like I didn't know that.
So, and that's also the other thing is once you get into this research and once you start getting curious, like especially when I got into skincare, like carrots is natural retinol, rosehip oil has trace amounts of tretinoin. Okay, there are so many things. Niacinamide you can find in cucumbers. There are so many things.
So funny.
Yeah, there are so many things that you realize.
I haven't had a cucumber in a while.
Yeah, but you should have a cucumber. You should have a cucumber. But I'm saying there is just so much to learn, and everything we need is God-given, mother-given. Whatever you believe in, it's here.
Literally, they're taking the good stuff from foods that you could literally like buy for like so cheap.
Yeah.
And they're putting it into expensive creams, and then they're selling it to you, and they're marketing it well, and they're making the packaging fancy and cute, so you're like, oh, you know, and then you get excited having it in your bathroom. Like literally, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So I love the awareness, like just having that awareness around it. Like you can eat your skincare, you don't have to. And talking about you can eat your skincare, like yes, eat those type of foods. Like obviously cucumber has a lot of water and stuff, which is good for you too. But like more importantly, what you preach too, and I highly believe in that. What you put on your skin is also something you should be able to eat, because like it's the same thing. Like if you put it into your mouth or onto your skin, almost like same, right? So like make sure you can eat your skincare. I think that's like one of the videos you made that also said that, or something along the lines.
All my skincare you can eat. And actually another reason why I got into that is because I really want to have children, and you know, babies lick everything. I don't want them to lick my face and then be having chemicals.
Oh, that's a good one. I've never thought about. Yeah, babies definitely do lick everything.
They lick everything, and I want them to. I want them to like bite my face, then pull my hair, put their hair on my. I want that. Like I want them to do that. Yeah. So I want to make sure that it's a very nourishing surface for them to put their little tongue on.
I love that you're like thinking this far forward. I think that's so great. Like that's so true. And I think like building those habits now, like for the future, for like in your case, like, you know, when you have a baby or like whatever it is, like just wanting to be the healthiest version of you, really. Starting to educate yourself around that. What is your favorite health and beauty hack then, that probably also just costs like a fraction of what, you know, other people spend their money on in terms of beauty and like conventional products, that actually give way better results?
Prioritizing your gut health. A lot of the things that I get asked on, you know, if I post a natural skincare recipe, oh, what about hormonal imbalances? What about hormonal acne? That's still something that can be fixed with food.
Literally, that's how I fix my acne.
Exactly.
We were just talking about like literally.
You don't need Accutane, and it doesn't need to just be bacteria underneath the skin surface for you to fix your skin. No, in the natural way, and a lot of these things that help heal your gut, like a good bone broth, a sauerkraut, probiotics, prebiotics, is not that expensive.
Yeah.
And there are ways to make it more affordable, like make it at home, which is what you should do anyways. I know that, time constraints for some people, but there are options. And
what would you say to someone who's like, I love everything you say, but like, what the fuck? I don't have the time for this. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because there's always people who are like, I don't have time for this. I have a busy life. I have 2 children, 3 children, whatever. I have fucking 5 dogs. I have a husband. I have like, how do you make time? Like, what are your time hacks when it comes to like making stuff at home yourself? Because
inclusion. I think that's the thing. So I have friends who are who have children right now, and they haven't sacrificed parts of their routine. They've just included their children.
Oh, I like that. That is a great parenting hack, by the way.
Yeah, and also that's what you should do. My mom,
Showing
when
them what
she
to do.
yeah, when she loved to garden when I was young. She didn't stop gardening once I was born. She just did it with me strapped on her. And then once I was old enough to do it myself, she was sunbathing while I was gardening. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you know what? I actually fucking love, like, that's the ultimate life hack for like busy moms who like are like, oh, I feel like I need to give stuff up for my children. It's like, no, just do it with your children, teach them, have them help you, and eventually let them do it for you.
Yeah.
Your mom, you do the gardening, babe. I'm gonna lay in this. I love that. I freaking love inclusion.
Yeah.
That is the perfect, like, that's literally a hack.
Exactly.
I don't think enough people know about it, though. It's simple, but like,
And also, with that being said, this is where partnership is so important. And I know that not everyone has partners, but if they are looking to add, to get a partner, this is but this is what is so important. Your partner's for a reason. Sometimes one partner is 10% and the other needs to be 90.
Literally.
You need to help each other. The ways in which you do it, that is to be discussed amongst partners.
Yeah.
But
100%.
it shouldn't feel overwhelming. There's a solution for everything, and I think this is something that needs to be more said to thyself. There is a solution for everything. Am I going to sit here and figure it out? How badly do I want to figure this out? It's all about priorities.
I do believe, and people hate when people say that. They're like, I set my priorities, but I still don't have time. No, but genuinely, look at where you're wasting your time. Are you doom scrolling?
Doom scrolling, yeah.
If you do that, then don't tell me you don't have time for a 10-minute yummy skincare routine where you're present with yourself.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me that, okay? I'm not having it. Like, literally.
Yeah, my friend was just at a high rocks class, and I'm going to tomorrow just to meet this woman. But there is a woman who is 8 months pregnant, and she's on her 5th child.
No way.
And she's at a high rocks class. And she's beating everyone's ass.
No.
So, sorry. Don't tell me you don't have time. Tell her.
Literally. No, I think this is so true. Like, a lot of people assume, the people who seemingly have time for everything, they're superhuman. No, they're actually not. They're just having their priorities really straight. They probably ask for support without guilt as well. They can receive help and support. Like, for you, you're like, I want to do this, but I also want to do that. Well, maybe I'll just ask a friend or my partner. Like, right? Like, I think a lot of successful people or people who excel at something or have something you don't, is because they're not afraid to ask for help as well. I think that's a huge one for women, especially. For
sure.
We need to be hyper independent. We don't need a man. We don't need community. We don't need anything or anyone.
No, you do.
You actually do.
No, you do.
You literally do.
You do. It does take two. But then also in that sense, I think it's super important to not think about what makes the other person go round. That's so irrelevant. Like, how she's able to do that means nothing to you.
Get inspiration from it, though, right? Like, maybe get inspired by the fact that she is unapologetically asking for help. Like, that is inspiring.
Yeah, but if you don't know how she's able to do that, don't waste time thinking about how she can. Just think about how you can also have the time to do that.
Get creative. literally, how can I create time? Like, how can I manage my resources? And how can I, and I think this is the biggest one above all, is how can I limit the time that I'm spending doing absolutely nothing for myself? Maybe I'm scrolling social media, comparing myself. Maybe I don't know. I don't know all the ways you can waste your time, but there's surely plenty. Just be honest to yourself about it and like reduce that at least a little bit and see how you have more time in hand suddenly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I think that's how you and I do it too, right? It's like, I mean, I'm not perfect. I still scroll sometimes. And that's how I literally found you.
Yeah.
Like, but have
Same.
That as a reward for me. Actually, I had a really long work day that day, I remember, and like that was my little reward. But like I will use it as a reward. I will be intentional. I'll be like 10 minutes, just, you know, like doom scroll, but like that's my reward. I fucking earned that. I can do that, and it's fine because it's intentional, and I'm not gonna do it for like 2 hours, like, you know, without a frame, without a container.
Yeah.
So I think having some rules for yourself in that sense really, really helps.
Yeah.
Let's actually dive into, before we're wrapping this up, because like chatting for a while. Do you still have time?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're in Bali.
Okay. That is so real, but also there is people who are like, oh, I still need to like be at a whatever Pilates class.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you have time still. What does it mean to you? And we kind of touched on that before, but what does it really mean to you to live sustainably? Obviously, like taking from the earth is like a very sustainable way to live, but like what are some ways people, even like people living in cities listening right now who don't have as much access to nature as we have, because like I will say I feel very fortunate to be in a place where it's easier to access like sustainable products and all of that, and like live more sustainably, more in sync with nature. I mean, I think there's always a way to like have more of that. For instance, do you want to share with people how you live? Because I heard that earlier and I was like, goals for fucking days. Like love this.
Yes. So when you look up Bali, you probably see Canggu, Uluwatu, Ubud. I don't live in any of those places.
No, and I was surprised, but I loved it.
Yeah, I live in the jungle with 60 monkeys, about 10 goats, maybe 5 cows. I live in the jungle. And yes, being in Bali, we do have access to more sustainable things. But to be honest, when I think about sustainability, yes, I think about sustainable consumerism. The absolute most sustainable that you can be is, you know, not to buy fast fashion. If you can, buy organic fibers or turn some of your old clothes into new clothes with a new tailor, you know.
I like swapping with friends. I've been doing a lot of that.
Yeah,
recently.
Exactly. That's also, that's really amazing. I think more about, when I think sustainability, it's more than just sustainable consumerism, which I feel like always dominates the conversation when sustainability is talked about. But I look at everything like a circle. So when I have a piece of clothing that I no longer think I want to wear, I give it to my neighbor who is a local.
I do the same with my cleaning lady. She's so cute though. Oh my god, she's so happy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the cutest thing ever.
It's so sweet, and that's the thing. Just give. I think that creates more sustainable, and then
I actually like that, just as a general reminder, like give more. We all have plenty. Like, why don't we give more?
One person's trash is another person's treasure.
Literally.
And that's true sustainability, because buying from these sustainable brands, as someone who used to work in strategy and consulting, they're not sustainable. Most of them are not sustainable. They're very loose.
But I think, like you need to just...
Don't focus on the sustainability tag. Focus on what you can do in your very close by environment to be more sustainable. So whether that be giving your clothes to a friend, a cleaning lady, a neighbor, something, that is sustainability.
I love that. I love that so much. So like it's consumerism on the one hand, but like what else? Because like when you just said you look at like the full circle, I so agree on that. I even think about sustainability when I think about the way we live and the way we work, because it's not just, I mean, it's like what we consume and buy to 100% because you're voting with your money always. However, what I also believe is like just creating life in itself as in a sustainable way that you can actually sustain it long term. Like that's what it means, right? Like long-term sustainability for me means, well, I'm not gonna like burn myself out and like sprinting for a year or two and then like being completely bedridden for like 6 months because I've not worked or like lived sustainably, right? But rather having some sort of balance or like looking after yourself, prioritizing what's meaningful, important for you, what's supporting your health and well-being, every day or like on a weekly basis at least, what are some of the things you do that help you feel your best, which again, like that is sustainable, right? When we focus on feeling our best, not just like now but like longer term, what are some of the, like, even when we talked about prevention before, what do you do to prevent not feeling like what you're doing is sustainable? Like, so what are some of the choices you make?
And this everyone needs to find healthy escapism. Most people find escapism through a party, through
Alcohol.
the bottom of the bottom of a wine bottle. Find a sort of healthy escapism. Mine is Muay Thai. Mine is Muay Thai. I get lost.
See that.
I get lost
Meditation.
in the sport. Find something where you can escape your work, and the only thing you can focus on, because it requires actual brain power and focus, is something healthy, something that's making you grow.
I like that.
That is so important. You need it. Everyone needs it. That's why media is so big. That's why sports are so big. This is a form of escapism.
It's entertainment, but it's not the right, I mean, it's entertaining, yes, but like it also does a lot to your brain.
No. Healthy escapism is escapism that is going to help you grow. It is going to give you a skill. It is maybe going to make you healthier.
Or present. I think, like when you're doing sports, for instance, like when I do Pilates, I'm so present.
Yeah, you don't think about anything else except the moves you have to do.
Exactly, and it's real. It's like moving meditation. Like that's really peaceful. But I also love how you're saying like learn something new, and that's a form of escape. Like for me as a child, like I had depression, and so what I would do is I was like a bookworm. I would read a lot, and that was my way to escape my actual reality. And it probably also saved me in a way.
Yeah.
Like books literally, like it did save me. And I was such a nerd, but like I really needed that. So like, if that is your escapism, I think a book is like a good way to start. But yeah, like having a hobby, like learning something new, creating art, even if you suck at it. Like for me, I always limited myself by saying, oh, I'm not a creative person. Like I'm good with words, but like I'm not like like I can't really like paint or like sing or any of that. But like just doing it for the practice of it and the fun of it rather than the outcome. I think that's where when we can reinvite childlike behavior, or like, when we just do stuff just for the sake of it rather than the outcome or end result, or like being good at it or performing in a certain way. I think that's so powerful too, and that's very healing for people, especially adults who like grew up like being so primed to perform, because that was me being a German. Everybody who's German listening knows what I'm talking about. Like Germans are very rigid, very like go, achieve, do, follow the path, do the thing, work hard, don't enjoy yourself a little too much. And I'm assuming New York is very similar to Germany in that way. Very fast-paced, very like hustle, like achievement focused, especially for women too. It's like keep up with the men, outwork the men, make more money than men. It's literally like that. And like if you can come back to your childlike behavior, I think that's like really healing, especially for us women. Like we need that.
Yeah, women.
Men too, obviously.
Women especially need that.
Women especially. So I think, and that also impacts when we talked about gut health earlier. I think this is a huge one too. It's like reducing your inflammation, your cortisol, your stress.
Yeah,
like,
you need to play.
Exactly, you need to do that, and it's not something that you have to earn. I think that's like a big mindset shift I had. Like last year was like, I don't actually have to earn taking time off. It's a given.
Yeah.
It's a given that I get to play, look after myself, have fun, enjoy life, like just because that's what we're here for. What do you think is something that you wish more women realized earlier that would give them more peace, more fun, more joy, but also less inflammation, like cortisol, stress, like all that? Because like for me, last year I had extremely high cortisol. That's why I was so inflamed. Because you touched on inflammation earlier, and like gut health and stuff. I think this is like also a factor that plays into it.
I think the one thing that women especially, I would love for them to learn is they don't need to be liked by everyone. They don't need to be friends with everyone. Because I do think that yeah, exactly. Most, I don't know the statistic, but I would guess if we looked up the why don't we? We're here, right?
If we did this, okay, let's do it.
Okay.
But I love that.
What is the statistic of women? The statistic?
We're being raised being people pleasers. Like, be the good girl, be agreeable. Like, I was told so many times when I was younger that I need to be agreeable. It's actually insane. It makes me sick. Just thinking about it. Because it's like, yeah.
Okay, in a survey of 1,000 U.S. adults,
Okay.
49% said they're people pleasers. 56% of them were women. So more women are people pleasers than men.
I actually would have thought it's
I would have thought it's way higher, but
Way
it's also
higher.
only a study group of 1,000 people.
in the U.S.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't even know where in the US.
Okay, fair. Okay,
Anyways.
I would have definitely thought it's way more women.
Yes, I think it is. It's just a very small
Probably.
study.
Because we're definitely more raised like that, no?
Yeah, we are. We're raised to be the good girl, you know?
Good girl.
To have a lot of friends, to have
Yeah.
the thing about this being a people pleaser, you eventually end up draining your own cup. And what I've found amongst women is that they do want to be liked by everyone because that's just naturally how we were raised.
And you end up being liked by nobody.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Is that what you were meaning to say?
Pretty much.
Oh.
And then you spend time, and this is the difference between conversations with men and women. Usually, women conversations are centered around other people, and male conversations are centered around ideas.
That's why I always hung out with guys when I was younger. I was actually having a lot of guy friends because I liked that. I was like, you know, I want to talk about making shit happen and not so much like other people. But like gossiping is such a real thing.
It's a connector. Gossiping is a connector.
Yeah. It is. Like, we're both hating that person. We're friends now.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
It is
Once
so
you
real.
once you stop wanting to be liked by everyone, you don't feel that need to connect through gossip.
Yeah.
You don't feel that if you don't enjoy spending time with someone, once you leave that situation, you're not going to then talk about it with another friend. You're simply going to leave it where it was and move on.
True.
And that will create so much abundant energy
And wholeness because you're not focused on lack.
when you eliminate the energy drainers out of your life. You will have so much abundance. You will feel so abundant. You will wake up with so much energy. The energy will be overflowing out of your cup because there's no one to drain it from you.
That is so real, actually.
And you know what? The way I like to think of it as the friends that I do have, I love with all my heart and soul. I would fly to the ends of the earth for them. And
It's so real.
I want to preserve my energy for them.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't give them my all, my best.
Oh wow, I actually really like how you said preserve it for the right people. I think a lot of people, myself included, like even just a year and a half ago, I would give my energy away so freely without being truly discerning. Like, is this actually a person that deserves me? I would not even ask that question. Because I wasn't like at that place yet where I was like, I actually just like, I'm such a good person, I deserve the world, and I, you know, it needs to be reciprocated.
Yeah.
So I love how you put it, like it needs preserved for the right people because not everybody deserves it.
Exactly. It's so interesting that people can go into a corporate job and negotiate a salary because essentially what you're doing is you're negotiating a salary based on your time. So your time is a commodity. So why then, when you're going to freely spend your time, like with your friends, you don't charge them for your time, but you've already set a standard for your time. You know, I'm assuming and hoping that you look at your time as expensive.
Yeah.
So why spend your time freely with someone who doesn't deserve it and isn't providing some sort of equal exchange?
Yeah, that is so real. Like your energy and your time both are so expensive, and I think that really comes with self-worth. Because again, I had to learn that the hard way. Like even I raised it a lot before, but like last year was really the breaking point where I realized, whoa, I'm really tired from giving so much to so many people, where a lot of it I figured out later was very surface level. Like it is like your time is finite and your energy, I mean, you have like limitless energy if you do the right things, if you know, do a lot of things in life that actually spark your joy and everything. But I do think we need to be more discerning, and I think a lot of people aren't doing that.
Exactly.
So like really asking yourself what nourishes me, what gives me a lot of energy, and what drains me. Like I think that's a very simple question to ask.
Yeah.
Like right now, pull up your journal and ask yourself what's draining me.
I was just going to say a practical exercise is go out with your friends immediately after, write down how you're feeling in your notes.
Ooh, I like that.
And then reevaluate it a couple days later.
I like that. And like with anything, right? Even like going on a date with someone, like how to actually like minus the attraction or minus, oh, they're tall and funny or whatever. Like how do you feel after being around them for like a couple of hours? I really like that. Like guys, girls, your work environment. Obviously, if you can't quit your job right now, like fair enough, but like, you know, like make changes accordingly, because I think that's really good to like pull your energy away out of places where it's not reciprocated, not nourishing you, all of that. One more, well, actually there's two more questions, but one more question I wanted to ask you, like, is what does living in alignment with your body and nature mean to you? Because obviously living in alignment with your body means honoring yourself, your cycles, your energy, all of that. But then also in alignment with nature, like how do you think, what's your preferred way to like live in alignment with yourself, your body, nature, and other humans, obviously? Like, what is one way that has allowed you to be more aligned and to like to sustain that, basically?
So, you know, we just talked about discernment, and I feel that in order to live in alignment, you need to build on this skill of discernment, because now living in alignment with my body, my spirituality, and nature is doing what makes me feel good. You know, and I know what makes me feel good because I've put in the work, because I have the discernment, because
and you're aware of what feels good in your body. I think a lot of people don't even notice when they're like,
and that comes from comes from work. You know?
True.
So
100%.
put in the work on the skill of discernment. Ask yourself, how am I feeling all the time? And eventually, you know, this doesn't happen overnight. And I can give you 3 steps, sure, that might help, but until you actually do it, you will figure out a path that is best for you to get there. You know, because that's discernment.
True. Ooh,
so just start with one little thing. Ask yourself how you feel at least 3 times a day, maybe after every meal.
Do a reminder on your phone. I like that. Like, have it stack it, like have your meal and then
ask yourself how you feel, and eventually you'll realize, oh, you know what, actually I didn't feel good, and then you'll say, what did I do when I didn't feel good? Oh, I did this, maybe I should stop doing this, and then it'll start to get better.
Also when it comes to your food, by the way, I love that you said that. Like when you don't feel good after eating certain foods, that's also immediate feedback.
The mind and the gut are, your brain is your second brain. Your gut is your second brain. Actually, to be honest, some people would argue you're first.
Really? Why?
Well, think about it. You eat, it nourishes, it comes here, and then it sends signals to your brain. So it goes here first, and then it sends signals to the brain.
Oh, wait. So it's your first brain, not your second brain, is what you're saying.
Some people say it's the first brain.
Oh, that is interesting. I've never thought about that. Oh, yeah. Fair enough. But it is something that gives you immediate feedback, and I think a lot of people completely ignore it. Like even your gut feeling, you know how a lot of people are so stuck in their heads that they always prioritize what makes sense, logic, the rational things above what they feel and how they feel. Like, oh, I'm coming into a room, I feel anxious, but I'm going to suppress it because it should make sense for me to be here, but it doesn't. Like, it doesn't feel good. That kind of stuff. That kind of stuff. I think that's really important. And that also, as you just said, like that comes with practice, like understanding how do I tune into my body, how do I become present in my body, and how can I read my body's sensations and even symptoms, like when you obviously, you know, like your heart beats faster, or like you get skin rashes after whatever, eating something or being around a certain whatever. Like that's always immediate feedback. Our bodies are so smart, they always communicate, and I think a lot of us have unlearned to listen to it because we're so in our brain. Right.
Exactly. We're information centers. Once you really get into the brain, like a woman's nipple. Do you know how smart a woman's nipple is?
Can we talk about it? Because that's kind of interesting.
But you know.
I mean, probably not. I mean, kind of, but not really.
So just like food is information. Food is information to the brain. Like how our body, our gut digests brain, information to the brain. When your baby takes milk from the nipple, your nipple analyzes the DNA of your baby's saliva and then changes the structure of your breast milk to nourish your baby. That's how smart.
I did not know that. That is magical.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. That's freaking magical. Is there any other part of the body that's insane? Oh, we were just talking about that before.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Actually, let's talk about that.
Okay.
We were having a little TMI conversation before we started recording, and I was kind of like, we should talk about this.
Yeah, but, you know, okay, so we were talking about a woman's vagina after sex.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Oftentimes, your body will tell you if this is the right person before your mind does. You know, pay attention to what you smell like after, pay attention to what you feel like after, and that will honestly tell you a lot of what you need to know.
I love that. I really, really love, like, our bodies literally reject or approve certain things we put onto or into our bodies.
Yeah.
Like, literally, immediately. It's like an immediate checkup of, like, do we like this? Do we resonate?
Yeah,
Or is it out of alignment? Is it not energetically right? Or, like, in any way, shape, or form, but mostly energetically, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and smell is so real. Pheromones are so real.
That's why you can smell some people and some you're just like, we're
Yeah.
not compatible. I can literally not smell your smell. Like, I don't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a real thing.
That protects you from incest. That's actually
Also true.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Oh, is it?
No, yeah, no, I
Oh,
wasn't
okay,
being
fair.
funny. I think the point of pheromones is to actually protect you from incest. So you don't like the smell of people who are biologically close to you, or they just smell really bad. One
No,
of
but
the two.
I think, no, I was just meaning to say that, but sometimes you actually, like, you're not biologically similar to someone, but you still can't smell them. But then it's literally just them.
Yeah,
smelling
they
bad.
smell bad. Yeah, they're you know.
Fair enough. Okay, I really like that. So, like, your body is literally immediately communicating with you. The more you can read your body's signals and signs and, like, instant feedback, the better off you are in life.
Yeah, your body's always trying to communicate with you. It's your job to work with it and understand it.
Yeah, speak your body's language and then honor what it says.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of going against it and, like, making poor decisions. I love that. So you actually wrote 2 books, I think, right? Like an ebook and a cookbook. Both are not published yet, as far as I know.
So my natural skincare ebook is available to purchase.
Oh, it's already okay.
Yeah, it's linked in my Instagram, and it will be on my website, SoftWild. And then
Sweet.
at the same time, my website comes out, which is end of September.
So whenever you're listening, make sure to check the show notes. We'll update them.
Yes, and my cookbook will be on there as well.
Oh, that's so sweet. So what did you make sure of when you created them, or, like, are still in the process of creating them? Like, what is something that you really, really pay attention to when creating them to really make sure people get the maximum value, obviously, out of it, and making sure that you bottle your entire all of your knowledge, basically, that you've acquired over the past couple of years into them, and, like, what can people expect, basically?
So what I made sure to do with both of my books is not just to give you recipes, because both are books of recipes. One is natural skincare and the other one is food. Yeah. But it's not just a recipe that you simply recreate. You understand the purpose of each ingredient,
which
and
then motivates you to actually follow through and use it.
Yes.
When you understand it, you're like, yeah, I have to.
Exactly. And then in addition, it gives you a list of natural ingredients for specific symptoms you might be experiencing, or an outcome that you want to achieve, so that you can feel confident to do it yourself in your own kitchen. You don't need to follow my recipes. You just need to understand the power of nature and what's in nature. And what I really want, like, yes, you get the recipes, but you get the confidence and the curiosity to create something on your own because you have the knowledge of what it does. Yeah. And it's the same with food.
That's very empowering. I love that. That's very sustainable too, because you can kind of then make it your own after you've understood the whole thing, which a lot of people don't have that understanding, which, again, like, it's so complex. Yeah. Like, it requires years of research, and you gotta understand it to, like, be able to then make it your own and go that extra mile, let's say. I really, really love that.
Yeah.
That's great. So, like, that's for starters who are, like, new to this, but then I'm assuming also people who have dabbled in this before and just want to take it to another level, or just have everything in one place, basically.
Yeah,
like a
exactly.
curation of, like, your best, like, ingredients, knowledge, like, explaining the why behind it, because I think for a lot of people it's just, like, for me, myself included, like, I'm sometimes lazy, like, in the way that I'm like, oh, like, it's more convenient to, like, buy stuff than to make it yourself. But then when you understand how much better it actually is for you, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
no-brainer that kind of motivates you to
Exactly.
go the extra mile and take that extra time for you.
Yeah.
You know?
And you get the option of both. Like, you can either use the book as a tool of information and knowledge, or it is separated into sections based on skin concerns. So acne, sunspots, dry skin, eczema, that's all in there. So if you don't want the knowledge and you just want the recipes, you can also just go to the recipes.
Oh, I really, really like that. Are you going to put in like the time, how much time it will take? Because I think like then there's like people who have like less time, so like they want the 5-minute quickies, and then there's people who are like, actually I want to spend my whole Sunday doing this. Like if it takes 30 minutes up to an hour, I don't mind.
So the most amount of time a mask takes in my life and the book is like 6 minutes max.
Okay.
Most of the time comes from actually going to the store and getting the ingredient,
which you can do like once a week or every 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But and they're common, like Greek yogurt, lemon, honey,
Literally.
things like that. It's very it's
Black seeds.
Exactly. It's very common.
Yeah.
So I would say most of the time is actually going to the grocery store, and the mask itself is really
and you can
very
order
quick.
Too. Like you don't even have to go. You can literally order online.
Yeah.
And like get it sent to your house. I love that.
It's very quick.
Very quick. And how about SoftWild? Because that is, again, like we just talked earlier, that is a digital publication. What can people expect from there?
So
I love the name, by the way.
Oh, thank you so
like,
much.
It really
Yeah,
resonates.
I think it resonates with everything I am, and also
literally
just what like-minded women. I think we really resonate with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, SoftWild will be an online digital publication, and what the purpose is education, so people can come on there and really filter what they want to learn about. So they're able to search up anything on this website, and perhaps I publish something about it. And I also want to feature stories on there of brands that are doing something right, that are being actually sustainable, that are exactly that are providing an amazing product, like a natural fiber clothing brand that does plant dyes. I want to create beautiful stories, because it's also for women, it's so inspiring to see something beautiful. It's important for women to look at beautiful things.
Very important for like nourishing your feminine too. We just talked about that earlier. It's so important.
Exactly. And I don't think learning needs to be this concrete black and white. You can also learn through beautiful visuals and beautiful storytelling. So this is just another form of education.
But like in a beautiful way. I think actually learning through studies and stories rather than just the here are the facts. Like that's actually so much more sustainable, because then we kind of, I feel like as humans we digest it better through story. Like I learn best through, for instance, a podcast where there's someone sharing their wisdom through a story, that rather than just this is how it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love that. I really resonate with that.
Exactly.
So that's going to be like a subscription?
No, that's going to be free. There will.
Oh wait.
Yeah, it's going to be free.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, this is free information.
I didn't even realize that. That's great.
This is going to be free. And then
Guys,
there will
if you're
be.
not looking at this, I can't help you. Like everybody listening, if you're not checking this out, I can't even help you anymore. I'm sorry.
Yes, this is gonna be free. And then for the women who do have very busy lives and do want to just buy products, there will be products that I have gone through with the microscope and have given the Victoria. Okay, these are very non-toxic products.
Oh wait, you're shipping them internationally? Is that what you're saying?
So I'll have a curated gallery of products that I've loved and honestly probably even use.
Yeah.
That people can then, don't have to go through so much research. Like if they want to buy a cool olive oil, I'm going to have a gallery.
Oh, true. I love that. So basically, like people don't have to like research all themselves. Like you're just like, yep, that's safe to. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that, because sometimes it's like it's a lot to compare. It's a lot to look at all these brands, and then there's some that are like better than others, obviously. So I love that.
Yeah.
That's really incredible. So we'll put the link in the show notes for everybody who wants to check it out. My last question for you is, and this is like always like the fun little question at the end. What is your top tip? I mean, there's so many, but like, what is your top tip to unfuck your life for our listeners that they can kind of like take away, integrate pretty much right away?
Radical accountability.
Ooh, self-accountability, yes.
Radical accountability, because once you adopt this mindset and this lifestyle, you stop being a victim to life.
Yeah.
You start.
Society and everything, the brainwashing, all of it.
Yes, exactly. And once you do this, you feel that you have so much power to create whatever you want.
I really, really like that. I think a lot of people forget.
Yeah.
Right? Like we go through life and we think so much happens to us, and there is a bunch of stuff that does happen to us, but then there's a lot of stuff that you can actually do with what, like, you have so much choice with how you respond, basically.
Exactly. And those things,
so much choice.
Exactly. And those things that happen to you is actually what makes you interesting. That's what makes you unique. Those little things that no one else has gone through, that is your story, that makes you interesting. And I know sometimes it's so annoying to say, oh, I'm grateful for the tough times. And sometimes, you know, the tough times are really horrible and unnecessary. But there are times where you can say, I'm grateful for the experience because it's going to allow me to be somewhere that maybe I don't know yet.
Yeah. And I love that you said that. I think, like, for a lot of people, it's like, oh, I hate that this is happening. This is unnecessary. But I almost think that it is necessary. Yeah. If it does happen to you, I do think you have to go through this right now. You don't connect the dots right now. You're like, fuck this. I don't like it. Like, this is not serving me. It will. Like, I think for both you and I, like, our toughest times in life have always led to the most magical, beautiful, unexpected outcomes, even though we couldn't see it in the moment. Like, in the moment, it just sucked, and that was just about it. And you just survive. You're just, like, kind of, like, trying to stay afloat. But then when you look back on it and all the things you take away from that time, you're just like, fuck, actually, I needed that. Like, best example, I was sick a couple of weeks ago, and I couldn't see anyone. I couldn't do anything, just completely laid flat. And coming out of that, I felt reborn, and I felt revived, and I felt the most at peace I've felt, like, in probably years.
Wow.
And I needed that. And in the moment, I was just like, I just want to survive. I just want to get through my days, because I was so sick. Like, it was not fun, like, literally knocked out. And then after, I was like, I love life more than ever right now. And I can't even explain why.
Yeah, you appreciate it so much more.
You have so much more appreciation for the good things. And I think you always learn something if you dare to go inwards and look at yourself and look at the things. And I had a lot of time in this bed here to question and to be honest with myself. What we just said, radical responsibility and honesty with yourself. Like what we just said earlier about, like, friends who are radically honest with you, give that to yourself as well.
Yeah.
It does a lot for you. So I love the ownership. I love the reminder to be responsible for your decisions, your life, your outcomes, asking, how did I co-create this? Or how did I allow this? Like, if I don't like this, why do I keep allowing it? That's super powerful. So, like, thank you so much for coming on, for coming here all the way from wherever you live,
the jungle,
all the way to Canggu, to the city, if you will.
Yeah.
To come here and chat together. I really, really love this. I think for everybody who listened and who's still with us after an hour and a half, I'm sure you loved this as well. Let us know. Like, send us a DM on Instagram. Let us know how you liked it, what resonated, what you maybe didn't like, or whatever. Like, we want to have all the feedback. Yeah. Make sure to follow Vic. I'm going to put all of her links, Instagram, website, ebooks, everything in the show notes. So make sure to check that out, because what this woman puts out there is Laura approved. I mean, you're going to have your Vic approved, like, products and stuff, but I approve all that. Just kidding. No, but, like,
I love that.
Literally, for real. Like, everyone I bring onto the podcast, and I'm very picky. I get so many people pitching to this show. I don't know. Like, a lot of people are interested, apparently. I'm so picky. I'm like, no. I don't care. If you're pitching, I don't care. I'm going to pick. I'm gonna reach out. Like,
discernment.
Literally that. So make sure to check her out. Don't forget to give this podcast a rating. I put so much time and effort and love into this show. So feel free to leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and make sure to be subscribed. We publish episodes every Tuesday. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'm already looking forward to connecting next week Tuesday in the next episode.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye. That was